What's good, YouTube? It's boy OTWood in the building, back with another banger. Today we're gonna be reacting to 100 people versus a gorilla, the honest truth. Man, I've been seeing this kind of pop off on social media lately. I've been seeing people say stuff like this, talking about if we had 100 men versus gorillas, who would win? To be honest, I think the gorilla would probably still win. I don't know because 100 people bombarding a gorilla is it's gonna be wild. You know what I'm saying? Not just people. We're talking about men, and it depends too. Strong men, regular day-to-day people that don't lift, don't do anything, kind of scrawny. Then all right, they're gonna lose. But if you're talking about strong, buff, muscular, lifting type guys, all right, I don't know. I think the gorilla would still come up on top, like a little bit, at least. But I don't really got too much talking to do today. Let's get straight to the video. Get straight to it.
So recently, all of social media has been blowing up with the debate of one gorilla versus 100 humans. The funny thing is that everyone seems completely divided onto who would win the fight. One side thinks that the gorilla would pull a Winston and just completely thrash the army of humans with ease, while the other side believes that the sheer numbers would let the humans just beat up the gorilla like it's Naruto. But
that's how I'm kind of thinking of it. I'm not gonna lie, that's how I'm kind of thinking of it. It's probably gonna be a bombard. I don't know the word, but you know what I'm talking about. It's gonna be a bunch of people just bombarding a gorilla. Yeah.
Who is actually correct? Is a gorilla versus 100 people actually a fair fight, or is it actually a stomp? Does the gorilla win, or do the humans? Let's find out. If you like this kind of stuff, make sure to like, subscribe, and let's jump right in. Now, to begin, I think it's important to establish both sides of this fight. For the gorilla, we are assuming that this is essentially the strongest gorilla possible. Of the 4 gorilla species, easily the largest and strongest would be a Silverback eastern lowland gorilla. At the absolute largest, gorillas can stand at over 6 feet tall and weigh between 400 and 500 pounds, with the largest ever being about 600 pounds or even beyond. However, this fails to capture how a gorilla's overall proportions drastically exceed that of a normal human, with a wingspan of over
I'm gonna be honest, like I don't know. Gorillas are pretty strong. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, I've seen a gorilla do some. I've seen clips of gorillas, silverback gorillas. They do the craziest shit. They're strong as shit. I'm not gonna lie. I've seen 2 gorillas fight. I know if you just put one guy in the middle of that, they'll be turned into paper. It'll be nothing else. But just a flat human.
Drastically more muscle mass and far less body fat. In comparison to the peak gorilla, the group of humans will be made up of 100 average people. There will be no boxers, no
that's what I'm
MMA
talking about.
Or
see,
athletes.
That's where you lose.
Instead, it will just be 100 totally normal people with totally normal physical stats, with there being an equal number of men and women. Now, technically, average height and weight.
And that's what I'm talking about. I don't mean to be pausing too much, but I had to. That's what I'm talking about. That right there that would be the downfall. If it's just average humans, you're cooked, my nigga. You're cooked.
Varies somewhat drastically across the planet. So for this video, we'll be taking the stats from just Americans when possible. This means the 50 men in the group will be on average 5'9" and almost 200 pounds, while the 50 women in the group will be on average 5'4" and 170 pounds. Now, to be fair, Americans are kind of fat, so ultimately using the statistics of a healthier nation doesn't change these values very much, or the outcome in my opinion. Still, either way, the gorilla is going to be far larger than any single human, exceeding them in height by a couple inches and being casually twice the weight of the average man. Also,
who would want to fight that
shit? Same page. This is what 100 people looks like. It's definitely not a small group, but it's also not a massive crowd by any means. A lot of college lectures have more people than this in them. With that being understood, who wins this? Determining the true strength of a gorilla is incredibly difficult for multiple reasons. Firstly, gorillas ultimately are not a predatory species, so in comparison to something like a bear, a wolf, or any of the big cats, they rarely, if ever, go out of their way to attack humans. Secondly, unlike for humans that will willingly do experiments to test the limits of human strength, doing the exact same thing is almost impossible for gorillas because they're not just going to do a bench press for a couple of bananas, unfortunately. This forces most, if any, estimations of gorilla strength to be just that, estimations based off of their bodies, and the very rare. I'm
gonna say this though. I've seen I've heard somebody say something like this. They was like, oh, I mean, it was this video I was watching. So he said, if like, the first 15, 20 go, then I'll go after, the gorilla will be tired. I'm thinking that plan would be the best approach. Some of y'all might have to die for others to succeed. I'm just not gonna be the first one to die for y'all to succeed. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna let y'all go first and I'll go after. You know what I'm saying? Like, you feel me? I still probably might not make it. Hey, shit, I might not even do that shit at all. I'm gonna be honest.
Instances of strength
I'll be fighting the Silverback for.
Thirdly, there is a lot of hearsay and misinformation regarding gorillas, with most online sources claiming completely different stats for what gorillas are actually capable of. Finally, a lot of info about gorillas that does exist is oftentimes really old. The biggest issue, though, is that inconsistent information. For example, one website says they can lift 1,800 pounds, while another claims they can lift more than twice that at 4,000 pounds. Things get even more wild when these resources put it in terms of humans. Some claim that a gorilla is 8 times stronger than an average man. Another claims that they are 4 to 10 times stronger than a human.
All right, what do you believe? What are we supposed to be believing?
Another claiming that gorillas are a whopping 20 times stronger than a human. Clearly, the only consistent thing agreed on here is that
hold on. What they say?
Humans, but this much variation here is that gorillas are stronger than a human, with another claiming that gorillas are a whopping 20 times stronger than a human. Clearly, the only consistent thing agreed on here is that gorillas are stronger than humans, but this much variation in number between sources is enough to say that these numbers are completely made up or very unsubstantiated. So let's look to what actual researchers have said about gorillas, or what we have actually seen them do in real life. Consistently, gorillas have been seen uprooting thin banana trees, shattering protective glass, and have broken human arms in brief attacks. Smaller and weaker primates like chimpanzees have shown feats of strength 2 to 3 times stronger than that of a normal human, around 800 to 1,200 pounds.
Hell no. So that means we even getting clapped by chimpanzees? That's crazy. Then we that weak? Now we need one of them strong men. You know what I'm saying? Them strong men, the niggas that be doing the little contest where they hold the little shit from the side like this. We need one of them niggas to combat one of them silverback. They still probably might lose. I'm not gonna lie. But at the end of the day, at least we got some muscle going on. You feel me? If you talking about the average nigga, we're cooked. And that chimpanzee, if they doing this 905 shit right here, we're cooked.
Less than a quarter of the weight of a gorilla. Suddenly, the 4,000-pound claim
not 100 of us,
slightly more valid and would approximately make them 8 to 10 times stronger than a human being lifting-wise. Though strength and weight don't exactly work like that in a 1-to-1 ratio. Clearly, looking back to older information, the statements get harder to verify, but could also be potentially more legitimate, as these were real interactions in the wild. We have accounts from 19th century explorer Paul Chalu recounting gorillas snapping and bending metal guns with their bare hands, or even an older account from explorer Andrew Patel that recounts that 10 people were unable to pin a gorilla down. Finally, we have more speculative calculations around things like gorilla bite force and punching strength, which is incredibly difficult to calculate without, having the gorilla punch something that actually measures the force. Still, even the most lowball calculations put the gorilla's strength at around 881 joules of force, with the highest being 3,660 joules of force. In comparison, humans output only about 74 joules with their punches, which would make the potential difference in punch power anywhere from around 10 to 50 times. I don't think really speed is something we really need to talk about here. It isn't like other power scaling topics where either side is a blitz difference faster than the other or anything like that. Gorillas and humans are simply comparable in overall speed, with the gorilla being a bit faster in bursts of muscular power, though such speeds aren't exactly
they're not really that fast.
So overall, gorillas
but
are
on all fours they are
larger, heavier, and more powerful than multiple humans combined. Either way though, are the humans cooked? Let's get into it. Now,
hell yeah,
1v1, 2v1, or even 10v1, I think the gorilla could pretty easily take it. From everything we've seen, from historical accounts to estimations, a gorilla may legitimately be around 10 times the strength of average humans, making all of these random articles potentially correct even if they were just yapping. Single strikes and bites from a gorilla is going to be breaking bones of whoever is unlucky enough to be in range. As they tend to do, they can also easily grab, lift, and pull around like any human they manage to grab. Furthermore, most attacks from a human are simply not going to legitimately harm a gorilla, the difference in the basic lifting and punching power being so immense that the person punching the
You see how this guy is explaining all this? That means this topic, I wonder where this topic came from. Where did this topic come from? This discussion came out of nowhere. This guy talking right here is showing us, is telling us actually, and providing us facts. as to why we're not surviving that shit. I don't care if you was 100 strong niggas. Probably 100 strong niggas strong. Man, 100 strong, man. Hold on. Nah, they might win. I'm not gonna lie. If it's 100 strong men, yeah, they might win. I ain't gonna lie. Depends. You feel me? Depends. I don't know. But they might win. Hey, I might. You feel me? Hold on.
Gorilla would probably hurt their hands more than the gorilla's body. But as the number of humans increases towards 100, things get worse and worse for the gorilla for multiple reasons. Firstly, fatigue. Gorillas are not used to, nor are they really built for long, drawn-out fights. Most conflicts between gorillas...
so Buddy was right. You get the gorilla tired of some... Look, some of y'all gonna have to, you feel me, be gone for the rest to succeed. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna cap, but it's just not gonna be me. You feel me? I know I said I wouldn't do that first. I still would. No, I'm lying. I still wouldn't do that shit. I don't know what I'm talking about. But yeah, the other niggas that would do this, you know, good luck to y'all. Kudos. Woohoo. You know what I'm saying? Hope y'all come on top and live to tell the tale. Head ass.
Only lasts a couple minutes at most, which is actually true for most humans as well. But while the gorilla might tear through 20, 30, 40 people, boom, there are still 60 humans the gorilla has to beat in order to win. Secondly, in this fight, strategy and coordination genuinely matter. For this fight to even happen, we kind of need to ignore the concept of fear for both sides. If a gorilla saw a group of 100 humans, they are very likely not going to attack and just run away. On the other side, if most people saw a gorilla beating up a dude, they're not going to jump in and help out. They are also running away. With that being said, if both sides legitimately want to beat the other with full conviction and no other options, 100 people can pretty quickly coordinate to absolutely bum rush on the gorilla, who simply would not be able to attack every person at once, even 20 people at once. Which brings up the third thing. Weight. For as strong as a gorilla is, especially a potentially tired gorilla is simply not strong enough to hold off the weight of a coordinated group of humans. At the mid-end estimation of 1,800 pounds, even just 20 200-pound humans would be able to pin down a gorilla, with the only claim to the contrary being from a guy born in the 1500s. Would people get hurt and probably be killed in this effort to pin him down? But again, there are 50 dudes all prepared to do this, let alone the 50 women. But pinning isn't enough. The gorilla would need to be defeated, and even without tools, humans
hold on. So that means we was right. You feel me? No, I'm not gonna say we. Let me take that back. But that means what I was saying about other dude from the video I watched was it was right. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like he said, I don't know, it was the video I was watching. Yeah. He said something like this. I'm not gonna cap. So it was, I ain't know gorillas actually get tired that quick though. I'm gonna be honest. I ain't know that. But if that's true,
be able to actually hurt gorillas.
We might come up on top.
Far weaker than the apes. Human kicks are overall far stronger. It can range from over 3,000 to over 4,000 joules, which is actually stronger than gorilla punches from a pure energy output standpoint, as crazy as that sounds. So while yes, one guy randomly kicking a gorilla would probably do nothing, several dozen people all kicking at a gorilla's head while he's already pinned down would eventually take him out.
Damn.
So yes, 100 humans could beat a gorilla. If gorillas were truly a threat to literally 100 humans at a time, there would be far more stories of gorillas actually, you know, killing humans, while we have stories like this for elephants or bears. So bottom line is this: humans most likely win, but you don't want to be at the front of the crowd when you're staring down a silverback. If you made it this far,
like I said, I wouldn't do this. And I'm still wondering, I'm still thinking in my head as to where did this conversation come from? This shit just came out of nowhere. Motherfuckers just making up shit in their heads to say, huh? I wouldn't be doing that shit though. Y'all could do that yourself. But me personally, nah, never. But if you guys enjoyed the video, you know what to do. Hit that like button. Subscribe if you're new, and hit that post notification button to stay updated on the next video. You feel me? And I'll see you guys next time. No cap. Peace.